these cops, break down this 17-year-old because they thought he had a gun when really he had a water bottle in his waistband. Ain't that some crazy shit? Anyway, just like I said, they will execute anybody if they say gun. And that's some crazy shit. For real though. And the other craziest thing is that he called them for help or whatever whatnot. And they said he was suicidal. How the hell he was suicidal if he just had a water bottle? Like really though, I think he was going through a mental health crisis or whatever whatnot. And they just shot this boy. Then when he fell to the ground and he was moving, trying to pull his shirt up to show them that he had a water bottle, they shot him again. And that's some crazy shit. They shot him dead. On purpose. And that's on bro. Anyway. Now these officers in the UK arrested a little boy for no reason because he was play fighting with his friends. And his friends was white. But they obviously know that wasn't gonna stick. So they came up with a lie and said he had a knife in his hand or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And his friends was like, what's going on? Real though, that's some crazy shit, gang. Damn, they just arresting this boy for no goddamn reason. Real though. Shit. He saw the cops coming and he got scared, started running or whatever whatnot. So one of the cops chased him down and actually tackled him down on the damn ground or whatever whatnot. Put handcuffs on him and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's some crazy shit. Damn. For what? For nothing. But dude said a lot. He said he knows, the area or whatever whatnot. But that boy didn't have nothing to do with anything that happened in that goddamn area. And nothing didn't happen. He was just play fighting with his friends. And that's some crazy shit. His white friends was confused as fuck. They were like, what's going on? Real though. Anyway, they won't even tell him. Or whatever when I, you know what I'm saying? That's some crazy shit. And that's on bro. Anyway. Now, these people at this hospital actually, didn't take this woman seriously when she was, about to give birth or whatever, whatnot. And they, told her to, vacate the hospital or whatever, whatnot, you know what I mean? Anyway, so the lady had the, baby in a casino parking lot or whatever, whatnot, you know what I mean? That's some crazy shit. They didn't take it seriously as hell. Hell, anything could have happened to this lady. You know what I'm saying? If she didn't give birth or whatever went on, you know what I mean? Anyway, so they dumbasses looked as stupid when she walked back in the hospital with the baby in her arms or whatever went on, you know what I mean? But the baby life was in danger because the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck and they got it from around her neck and that's on bro. Anyway. Now they had a council meeting or something like that, you know what I'm saying? And this woman was speaking her mind or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And they let her have the floor or whatever. And then they start interrupting her after 5 minutes went past or whatever whatnot. You know what I mean? And when she sat down, she was still speaking on some stuff about the data center or whatever whatnot. You know what I mean? Said it was crazy as ever. But the thing is I don't know what the hell she was saying. She out there trying to blame government for the Democrats. What the hell? We don't have nothing to do with that shit. That's all Republican shit. We don't have nothing to do with that. For real though. So I don't know what the fuck she was saying. But the cop, like, actually told her to leave or whatever, whatnot. Know what I'm saying? And, like, and she said no. And they, like, just instantly, just, like, you know, um, made the altercation, like, break out or whatever, whatnot. You know what I mean? Girl, no. End up, like, slamming her down on the floor and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy as ever. And the ladies that was trying to take up for her, like, end up getting arrested too. Real though. I mean, like, too. A lot of people, like, was, like, complaining about them goddamn data centers. For real though, that's some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, it's tearing shit apart. And that's on bro. Anyway. Shit. Now, these, like, officer, like, start messing with this, like, man or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And, like, he was, like, right up in this, like, vehicle or whatever. And the cop, like, actually, like, didn't say anything or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? But he just, like, started, like, acting like that he was, like, drunk or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so he didn't want to, like, actually, like, get that to her, like, what I'm saying, at the kitchen with the cops or whatever, but the cops, like, started the altercation like a motherfucker. For real though. I mean, like, for real, because, like, they just, like, actually didn't, like, answer his questions or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? For real though. Anyway, so they are there just trying to yell and all this shit. You know what I'm saying? For real though. And that's some crazy shit. It's crazy shit for real. And they just, like, slammed them down on the ground and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? For real though. I'm like, damn. That's some fucked up shit. For real though. I mean, like, damn, you can't obviously have a conversation with their ass or nothing like that. And I'm saying that's some crazy shit. And that's on bro. Anyway, so this, like, dude and his, like, friend or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They was outside of the prison, right? And they was, like, filming, like, police cruisers and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And they was on public property. So them cops couldn't even fuck with them. You know what I'm saying? Right on, up there, like, threatening them and shit, talking about they gonna get arrested and shit if they don't, like, vacate the premises and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, they don't even know shit about the amendments. Aware, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about the cops because the cops is dumb as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Right on. Anyway, so, yeah, I mean, like, they kept on saying the same shit over and over again. Dude asked for they name and badge number. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know what I'm saying, crazy as ever. You know what I'm saying? So when they, like, actually got their name and badge number, you know what I'm saying, they didn't even ask for the sergeant. They just vacate the premises. They just got the fuck out of there real quick. You know what I'm saying? Real. I mean, like, shit. And hell, they just left. They said none didn't escalate or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? They just escalated the shit, you know what I'm saying? And that's on bro. Anyway, now, these, like, cops, like, end up, like, messing with this man. Because this man was, like, actually, like, driving, but his blood sugar was low as fuck. So, yeah, he started, like, you know what I'm saying, like, just actually, like, driving a car or whatever. He had his daughter in his car and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? For Anyway, so, yeah, I mean, like, shit, he was woozy. He was woozy with it, you know what I'm saying? For Anyway, so, the cop, like, actually, like, started, like, following him or whatever, whatnot. Not saying, since he was too woozy to, like, drive or whatever, he ended up, like, like, going, like, just, like, crashing the car a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just, like, it went down the grass or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It didn't, like, it wasn't no big crash, like, you know what I'm saying? Shit didn't break or nothing like that. It was just like that, you know what I'm saying? Just like a slump hill of grass or whatever. So, he, like, actually, like, just went down there or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? He didn't mean to go down there, you know what I'm saying? But he was just woozy. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so the cop, like, grabbed his blade and he told him to get out the car or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So he got out to court. You know what I'm saying? And the cop told him to like get down on the ground or he was gonna tase him. The cop had his like, taser out and he grabbed his blick out. Or whatever went on, you know what I mean? And when dude didn't comply, he like, actually tased him. He tased him so he could get down on the ground or whatever went on. You know what I'm saying? And his daughter up there like, hollering out. She worried about her dad. She was like, dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy as hell, you know what I mean? For real though. Anyway, the cop, like, actually, like, like, put his hands behind his back or whatever went on. You know what I'm saying? Broke one of his goddamn arms or whatever. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. Now, when they got this dude up in a, like, police cruiser or whatever went on. You know what I'm saying? He was calm. He didn't like, actually like, crash out or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? He was calm as ever. Real though. And like that was something else or whatever went on, you know what I mean? He didn't even say that, you hurt my arm, you broke my arm, you stupid motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even say none of that. Or none of that. He was just like polite as fuck. And that's on bro. But anyway, like them motherfuckers got sued though. You know what I'm saying? Real though, I'm like, damn, it's crazy as hell. Being I am. Oh my goodness, it's 1.950,000. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? $50,000. Hell yeah, that's some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, like, shit, they try to hit him up on like bogus charges and all this shit and all that. You know what I'm saying? And hit him up with like, try to danger me because his daughter was up in a ride or whatever and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, like, shit. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, he was going through like a custody battle with his woman or whatever, whatnot. He got permission to like, take his daughter with him and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And then shit just like, went crazy as hell. You know what I'm saying? Shit just got out of hand and this one broke. But anyway, like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit the bell on the notification so you can see my next upload, my next upload and my next post. And make sure I make another one tomorrow. And oh yeah, you can check out my previous videos if you like it. So long, farewell, goodbye.